We now start chapter 3. The title of chapter 3 is Analytic Function. This chapter contains 4 modules. Module 1 named as Complex Differentiation, Module 2 named as Analytic Function 1, Module 3 is Analytic Function 2 and Module 4 is Harmonic Function. We now discuss Module 1. The title is Complex Differentiation. In this module, we define differentiability for a single valued functions of complex variable, and we see that the derivative of a function of complex variable how related to the derivative of a function of real variable of one real variable, and sometimes it behaves like partial derivative of real valued function of two real variables. Here we also show that the differentiability at a point and differentiability in the neighborhood of a point are not the same for the function of complex variable. As in case of real analysis, here also we see that the differentiability at a point always imply continuity of the function at that point, but the converse may not be true. Here we also give some example for support of this statement. Then we discuss geometric representation of derivative, and at last we will provide some example related to this module. So now we go to our slide. So we start our chapter 3 module 1. First we define derivative of a complex valued function. Suppose that fz is a complex valued function defined in some neighborhood of a point z0. We say that the function fz is differentiable at z0 if limit z tending to z0 f of z minus f of z0 by z minus z0 exists and is finite. The limit is denoted by f dash z0, and we call f dash z0 as the derivative of fz at the point z0. Equivalently, we can write f dash z0 equal to limit h tends to 0 f z0 plus h minus f of z0 by h. If fz is differentiable at every point of a set S subset of C, then we say that fz is differentiable in S. So remark, from the above definition we see that fz has a derivative f dash z0 at z0 if for given epsilon positive there exists a delta positive such that modulus fz minus fz0 by z minus z0 minus f dash z0 is less than epsilon whenever modulus z minus z0 is less than delta. We consider a function eta of z which is equal to fz minus fz0 by z minus z0 minus f dash z0 if z is not equal to z0 and eta z equal to 0 if z equal to z0. Then from this it is obvious that limit z tending to z0 eta z is equal to eta z0. This implies that eta z is continuous at z0 and hence modulus eta z is less than epsilon whenever modulus z minus z0 is less than delta. Thus, we obtain an explicit expression for fz of the form fz equal to f of z0 plus z minus z0 into f dash z plus z minus z0 into eta z for all z such that modulus z minus z0 is less than delta. Now, we prove a result. If fz is differentiable at z0, then it is continuous at z0, and this result is also true for real valued function also. So, proof: since fz is differentiable at z0, by definition we have f dash z0 equal to limit z tending to z0 f of z minus f of z0 by z minus z0. Now, limit z tending to z0 fz minus fz0 is equal to limit z tending to z0 fz minus fz0 by z minus z0 into z minus z0, and this is equal to limit z tending to z0 fz minus fz0 by z minus z0 into limit z tends to z0 z minus z0, and this gives as equal to f dash z0 into 0, and which is 0. This shows that limit z tending to z0 fz is equal to f z0, that is the limiting value and the functional value are same. Therefore, we can say that fz is continuous at z0. But the converse of this theorem is not necessarily true, as seen from the following example. We consider the example so that the function fz equal to conjugate z is continuous at a point z0, though it is not differentiable there. So, here the function fz that is equal to z conjugate that is equal to x minus iy is clearly continuous at the point z0. Now, f dash z is equal to limit del z tends to 0 f of z plus del z minus f of z by del z, and putting the value of fz we see that this equal to limit del z tends to 0 conjugate of z plus del z minus conjugate of z by del z, and which is equal to limit del z tends to 0 conjugate del z by del z, and that is equal to limit del x del y tending to 0 0 del x minus I del y by del x plus I del y. So, from this we see that if del y is 0, then the required limit f dash z is equal to limit del x tends to 0 del x by del x, and which is equal to 1. On the other hand, if del x equal to 0, then the required limit f dash z is equal to limit del y tends to 0 minus del y by del y, which gives -1. Since the limit depends on the manner in which del z tending to 0, the derivative does not exist. We prove another theorem. A real valued function of a complex variable either has derivative 0 or the derivative does not exist. So, suppose that fz is a real valued function of complex variable. Suppose that fz has a derivative at the point z equal to z0. Then by definition f dash z0 is equal to limit h tending to 0 f of z0 plus h minus f of z0 by h. Now, taking the limit as h tending to 0 along the real axis, we see that f dash z0 is real. However, if we take the limit h tending to 0 along the imaginary axis, then we see that f dash z0 becomes a purely imaginary number. So, from this we conclude that f dash z0 must be 0. Now, we give an example so that the function fz equal to real z, that is equal to x, is nowhere differentiable though it is continuous in the complex plane C. So, we take z as x plus iy. So, our given function is fz equal to real z, that is equal to x. Let z0 is the point, that is equal to x0 plus iy0, and we take h equal to h1 plus I h2, which is not 0. Then f dash z0 is equal to limit h tending to 0 f of z0 plus h minus f of z0 by h, and putting the value of fz, we obtain f dash z0 equal to limit h tending to 0 h1 by h1 plus I h2. So, if h equal to h1, then f dash z0 equal to 1, and if h equal to I h2, then we get f dash z0 equal to 0. Therefore, the function fz equal to real z is nowhere differentiable in C, even though it is continuous in C. So far, we have discussed the differentiability of a function of complex variable. We also show that the differentiability of a function of complex variable at a point implies continuity of the function at that point, but the converse may not be true, and for this we give some example in support of this statement. We now discuss geometric interpretation of derivative, and we also discuss some examples. Now, we go to our slide. We now discuss geometric interpretation of the derivative of a complex valued function. Let P be an arbitrary point in the z plane having coordinate z0, and let P dash be its image in the w plane whose coordinate is w0 under the transformation w equal to fz. And for this, see the next figure. We assume that f is single valued function. Then f maps the point z0 into only one point w0. If we give an increment del z, we obtain the point q, and let q dash be the image of q in the w plane. Then we see that p dash q dash represents the complex number del w, that is equal to f of z0 plus del z minus f of z0. Assuming that the derivative of fz exists at the point z0, we have f dash z0 is equal to limit del z tending to 0 f of z plus del z minus f of z by del z, that is equal to limit q tending to p q dash p dash by qp. That is, we can say that the derivative of fz is the limit of the ratio q dash p dash to qp as the point q approaches the point p. Since the point z0 is arbitrary, the above interpretation holds for any point z in the complex plane. So, this is our figure. Here we take two planes, z plane and w plane. P dash is the image of p and q dash is the image of q. So, here p dash q dash is equal to del w, and which is equal to f of z0 plus del z minus f of z0. So, next we prove a result. Suppose that f and g have derivatives at the point z0, then the derivative of f plus g at the point z0 is equal to f dash z0 plus g dash z0. The derivative of c into f at the point z0 is equal to c into f dash z0, where c is any scalar number. The derivative of the product fg at the point z0 is equal to f of z0 into g dash z0 plus g of z0 into f dash z0. And number 4, the derivative of f by g at the point z0 is equal to f dash z0 g z0 minus f z0 g dash z0 by g z0 square, provided that g z0 is not equal to 0. So, we give proof of this result. We note that as f and g are differentiable at the point z0, they are continuous at z0, and hence fz tends to fz0, gz tends to gz0 as z tending to z0. Now, the derivative of f plus g at the point z0 is equal to, by definition, limit z tending to z0 f plus g of z minus f plus g of z0 by z minus z0, that is equal to limit z tending to z0 f of z minus f of z0 by z minus z0 plus limit z tending to z0 gz minus g z0 by z minus z0, and that is equal to f dash z0 plus g dash z0. So, now derivative of c into f at the point z0 where c is any scalar is equal to limit z tending to z0 cf of z minus cf of z0 by z minus z0. Since c is any scalar number, from this we can write this equal to c into limit z tending to z0 fz minus fz0 by z minus z0, and that is equal to c into f dash z0. So, now the derivative of the product f into g at the point z0, this is equal to, we can write limit z tending to z0 fg of z minus fg of z0 by z minus z0, and which is equal to f of z into limit z tending to z0 gz minus gz0 by z minus z0 plus g of z0 into limit z tending to z0 f of z minus f of z0 by z minus z0, and which we can write by definition f of z0 into g dash z0 plus g of z0 into f dash z0. So, number 4, the derivative of f by g at the point z0, this by definition we write limit z tending to 0 f by g of z minus f by g of z0 by z minus z0. By simple calculation, we write this as limit z tending to z0 g z0 into fz minus fz0 by z minus z0 minus f of z0 into gz minus gz0 by z minus z0 by g of z into g of z0, and which is equal to f dash z0 into g of z0 minus f of z0 into g dash z0 by g z0 square. So, now we prove another result. Suppose that f has a derivative at z0 and g be another function which has a derivative at f of z0, then the composite function capital F, which is equal to gf, has a derivative at z0, and also capital F dash z0 is equal to g dash of f of z0 into f dash z0. So, we give proof of this result. Since f is differentiable at z0 and g is differentiable at f z0, that is equal to w0, we can write fz minus f z0 is equal to z minus z0 into f dash z0 plus epsilon of z, and g of w minus g of w0 is equal to w minus w0 into g dash of w0 plus eta of w, where epsilon of z tending to 0 as z tending to z0 and eta w tending to 0 as w tending to w0. Now, putting w equal to fz in number 4, and if we use 3, then we obtain g of fz minus g of fz0, that is equal to g dash f of z0 plus eta of fz into f dash z0 plus epsilon of z into z minus z0, and from this we get capital Fz minus capital F z0 by z minus z0 is equal to g dash f of z0 plus eta of fz into f dash z0 plus epsilon of z. This is number 5. Since epsilon of z tending to 0 as z tending to z0 and eta of fz tending to 0 at z tending to z0, we see from equation number 5 that capital F dash z0 is equal to g dash f of z0 into f dash z0. So, this proves our result. So, now we give an example, so that the function fz is equal to modulus z is nowhere differentiable in complex plane, but the function is continuous everywhere in the complex plane. So, let z0 be an arbitrary point in the complex plane. For continuity of fz at z0, we have to find a delta positive for given epsilon positive such that modulus z minus z0 is less than delta implies modulus of modulus z minus modulus z0 is less than epsilon. Since modulus fz minus modulus fz0 is equal to modulus of modulus z minus modulus z0, which is less than modulus z minus z0, choosing delta equal to epsilon, we can get modulus fz minus f of z0 is less than epsilon whenever modulus z minus z0 is less than delta. And from this we can say that the function fz equal to mod z is continuous everywhere in the complex plane. Now we check for differentiability of the function in the complex plane. We have by definition of differentiability f dash z equal to limit del z tending to 0 f of z plus del z minus fz by del z. Since fz equal to mod z, we get f dash z equal to limit del z tending to 0 modulus z plus del z minus modulus z by del z, and that is equal to limit del z tending to 0 modulus z plus del z minus modulus z by del z into modulus z plus del z plus mod z by modulus z plus del z plus mod z, which is equal to limit del z tending to 0 modulus z plus del z square minus modulus z square by del z into modulus z plus del z plus modulus z, which is equal to limit del z tending to 0 z into conjugate del z plus z conjugate into del z plus del z into conjugate of del z by del z into modulus z plus del z plus modulus z, and this is equal to limit del z tending to 0 z by modulus z plus del z plus mod z into conjugate del z by del z plus limit del z tending to 0 conjugate z plus conjugate del z by modulus z plus del z plus modulus z, and which is equal to limit del z tending to 0 z by modulus z plus del z plus mod z into conjugate del z by conjugate del z plus conjugate z by twice mod z. Now, proceeding the limit parallel to real axis, we obtain f dash z equal to conjugate z by twice mod z plus z by twice mod z. If we proceed limit parallel to imaginary axis, then we obtain f dash z equal to conjugate z by twice mod z minus z by twice mod z. Since f dash z is different for different path, therefore, f z is nowhere differentiable in the complex plane. At the end of this module, we came to know the differentiation of a complex valued function at a point and also the differentiation of a complex valued function in the neighborhood of a point. We also came to know the relation of differentiability and continuity of a function at a point z, and we see that differentiability at a point always implies continuity of the function at that point, and we also provide some example which shows that the converse is not true. If f z is differentiable at a point z0, then it is always continuous at a point z0. We also provide some example which shows that the converse may not be true. Then we discuss geometrical interpretation of derivative, and some problems are also discussed. For more problems, please see the self-assessment part of this module. You can also see the reference books for more details. This ends module 1 of chapter 3.